For today, of course, it didn't emerge today, it emerged yesterday. One of the voices of the third force in Nigerian political scene has now emerged as a presidential candidate of the SDP. Is Adewale Adebayo, the presidential candidate of the SDP. He now joins us live in our studio here. Thanks so much, Mr. Adebayo, for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
And congratulations on your emergence.
Thank you very much.
Which of the factions do you belong?
There's no faction.
There are factions in the SDP.
No, there's no faction. There are disagreements, but there's no faction. INEC recognizes only one executive, and in all the elections we've been doing, we've only been sending only one candidate. And I think people in just trying to make some media thing out of that.
Why do you politicians blame the media for all your troubles? I mean, when something happens, the media is a reflection, is a mirror of what is happening. We don't concoct. The only major role that the Constitution has given the media is to be on the necks of those who are in power and report them to the public. Whatever happens in your political party, we report them. But you always blame us when we report them. You don't want the public to know.
No, it may be because some of us have a high opinion of the media. We expect that, for example, the media will do more research. If there is a primary, you ask INEC, which party, how is it done? So things like that, so that you don't... If I just announce on this channel now that I'm the OB of Onitsha, I think you shouldn't even just repeat it.
But from a platform like this, those kind of things don't happen.
Exactly.
When we challenge people on what they say. Yes. If they're not factual, I've had to disagree with people. Yes. My job is not to disagree with people. My job is to get my viewers who are watching and who trust this platform for the kind of information that come. I disagree with people. I challenge them on the fact they bring forward. If I do, at the present time, at the moment we're talking, if it doesn't meet the standard of the facts that we needed. But it's fact that Mr. Sean Ibari has come out to say what the former, I'm trying to remember the man who sat on your primary today. He was a former governorship candidate in Ondo State.
Agunloye did not sit on a primary. We had a national convention in which the former governor of Ekiti State, Segun Oni, is the chairman of the convention.
Of the convention, yeah.
And the chairman of the electoral committee was Dr. Umar Ado. So it's nothing to do with any... And then INEC was led by the publicity commissioner for INEC, Festus Okoye, whom we all know. Those are the three critical officials. The chairman of the convention, Segun Oni, the chairman of the electoral commission, Dr. Umar Ado, and INEC, represented by Festus Okoye, who is not a flippant person. INEC will not go to primary that is not recognized by law. I
mean, INEC is the mediator, is in the middle and coordinates all of it. So, of course, when and it's in the power of INEC to determine from which of this leadership that is right to administer some of is the national leadership of the party that coordinates governorship primaries. But it's good for us to get clarification because...
No, that's important.
And it's also good because when you say that research and all of that, but when people come out with their own fact, another person come out with their own fact, it's incumbent on us to get all the parties involved to say, what do you have? What do you have? Then the public be able to discern.
You know, nomination for the presidency of Nigeria is a serious constitutional business. And the INEC is, I think, is the party we should listen to. INEC is the regulator. So you cannot run a bank without a license from the central bank. You cannot run a political party without a license from INEC. And I think media should be guided by that. But in a country where the law allows for freedom of expression, anybody can create factions or ideas or notions or groups. But when it comes to the business of electing the president, the Electoral Act should guide us on the Constitution.
Congratulations on your emergence.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate that.
You're on the same bill with the likes of Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and the rest. And you are one of those who are speaking loudly about a third force. Is the SDP the real third force?
I think so. He's the leader of the third force, it's very clear. And we're talking to our brothers and sisters in the third force. I believe with this long period of transition, we would inch closer to having a stronger third force family. You know, I've been leading in the third force. I've been talking to different parties. And I think now that everyone has done their primaries, then the discussion will continue. The third force will win the election, and the SDP will be the head.
So the Labour Party is also there, Peter Obi, and the likes of Patutomi, I mean, had joined Labour Party, ran against Peter Obi. So the question is, which is really the third force? Because in the minds of some Nigerians who are your followers and monitoring the third force, who those who do not like the APC or the PDP and they were looking for alternative, were looking through the third force, and Patutomi had gone to Labour Party, you were in the third force, you had gone to the SDP. Is it not confusing for those?
No, it's not confusing. When we met, we wanted to form one political party, but the timeline did not allow for that. Our merger is also easily complicated, and we decided that we should come together and get at the leadership of the parties. But it was getting difficult because it looks like each party wanted to do its primaries. Now it's been done, and you see that you will know whether a party can lead the third force by the kind of person they choose. Labour Party cannot lead the third force because the person they choose is not a third force person. It's a PDP person. So that automatically they're out. So they will have to now, the elements within the Labour Party, maybe they have chosen Patutomi, we can say they're serious about the third force, but you don't, imagine if we had gone to choose Bola Tinubu and we still pretend to be a third force. That would be a scandal.
What's wrong with Bola Tinubu?
Because he's part of the APC, he's part of the problem, and he cannot say therefore, because he's having a problem in his party, 1 week later, he becomes a third force. Peter Obi is not third force. He's a nice guy. I don't have any problem with him, but he's not third force. We should not be fooled easily. It's not third force. It's a PDP man who got disappointed in his primaries. That doesn't make you a third force. So Peter, I can recognize Moralu as a third force. Unfortunately, ADC threw him out. I can recognize Patutomi very well as third force, but I think the third force leadership, we are going to choose one of us, genuine third force. It's not going to be...
How are you going to achieve this? I mean, because now you look at, if you can put up that that information about the presidential candidate once again, so our viewers can see. Of course, we have Mr. Adewale, Adebayo's face is also prominently featured, so you can see on that screen, Ibrahim, Adewale Adebayo of the SDP, Yabaji Sani, and Omoyele Sowore. Is Omoyele Sowore part of the third force too?
He is part of the third force, even though a very vociferous type, but he's the third force. Because he's one of those who have a view of the alternative. He belongs to the alternative, and that's the issue. You may disagree with him on the degree or the extreme of issues, but it's a third force. And
there is maybe Kachuku there also, the ADC, because the third force were looking to ADC.
I think ADC... Well, I cannot go into the internal affairs, but I think if they wanted to be third force, they know who the third force people are. But Kachiku can say because he's not been in government before, but he doesn't have third force views. I think politics should be based on beliefs, not just the label you borrow for one day. So I think that, but it's not my party, so they have their choice, they know what they're doing. But at the third force, Yabaji is third force. We'll be holding the meetings. We know ourselves.
Is it because those who are aligning with you are attending your meetings? That's the reason. Because there are politicians, those who have failed, those who are aggrieved, that have joined your third force group. Because what exactly distinguishes someone from being a third force? And in fact, is that third force really acceptable to Nigerians? Is it seen as a real alternative?
The third force is where majority of Nigerians believe in. Because why do you say so? Because they are disappointed in the two ruling parties. So then they want a third way. Now, the third force, my definition of it is that before you got disappointed personally, you will have chosen to exit the two parties and be on the third force and try to build a new platform. You cannot just crash in the third force because you were kicked out of your conservative or mainstream politics. That's the point I'm making. Right. The third force is not someone who is trying to look for foreign shopping for ticket. No, right. You have to belong to that movement right from time.
You are a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
By training.
Yes.
And you own Kaftan TV, a media setup.
Yeah.
Aside that, what do you bring to the table? Why should Nigerians look to you as the next president that they should vote for?
Well, what I bring to the table is, one, a grasp of the issues. And when interviews like this go on, you will know whether I know what the presidential issues are in the country. whether I know how to be the head of state of Nigeria, to know the complexity of the countries, whether I can be an effective chief executive. I've been an effective chief executive all my life, all my working life. Whether I can be a commander-in-chief, whether I understand security, whether I understand safety of people, whether I can manage Nigeria's critical security infrastructure, whether I can do diplomacy, whether I have the energy, the vigor, and the intellect, and whether I have compassion for the people, and I know, and I'm honest, I can manage resources very well. Those are the things people should look at, and I think I have those, and I've demonstrated that in my life. And in the course of this campaign, people will understand what I've done. There are many, if you're in private life, unlike if you're in politics and you're hugging the camera every day, those of us who are in private life, we work quietly. I've worked in Nigeria, I've worked overseas, I practiced law overseas. I've been in agriculture, I've been in finance. I own a research institute that has produced medicine for sickle cell and other diseases. I have good, those who are in the pharmaceutical industry know me very well. If you ask people like Professor Uwu and Co, I've done a lot of research, I've sponsored research. So I've done things very seriously,
right.
Very capable.
So you think you are the best man for the job?
I think I'm the best man for the job now in this country, 2023.
Well, the campaign is going to be a long stretch, and perhaps we'll be seeing more of your face, not only on your TV, probably on the rostrum, where you'll be campaigning to Nigerians. And I wish you the very best. I think it's the beginning. Mr. Adewale Adebayo, presidential candidate of the SDP, thank you so much indeed for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. That's our show for today. Don't forget, the Ekiti governorship debate is on the 12th of June 2022, live from Ado Ekiti on Channels Television, 7 p.m. Keep it in with us. That's our show. Bye for now, everyone.